Hey guys, this is Equineqt, and today we're going to be doing a home decor art tutorial video, and it's for melted Crayola art. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen some of this stuff online. There is definitely a technique to it to get the crayons to melt just how you want them to, but today I'm going to be doing a really basic video to kind of help you guys figure out how to set it up and how to do just a basic straight line melt. And then you guys can go online and look up, different designs to do and stuff, or you can create your own. There's all kinds of different possibilities out there. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you're going to need is a hairdryer. This is to melt the crayons. Now, I find that using a medium heat setting with like a medium to low speed setting works. Oops, sorry, turned it on. With a medium speed setting works really well, but you don't have to use that one. You can use a high heat setting and stuff, whatever you feel is gonna melt the crayon. So you need a hairdryer. You're also going to need a glue gun. You don't need a big old fancy glue gun to do this. This is just a really simple low heat glue gun. It doesn't need to get terribly hot. Just, you're just gluing the crayons down to the paper. You're going to need a ruler. This will help you draw straight lines. You can line up all the crayons. You're also going to need paper. Now, I don't recommend using computer paper to do this because the oil and the melting of the crayons, it's very thick and oily, so it'll bleed right through. Now, if you look online, a lot of people say that you should use like a canvas type board or foam backed poster board, but those are kind of expensive, and if you're just starting out with this stuff and you're not very good at it yet, don't waste all your money buying those boards. You can buy like a painter pad, for watercolors and stuff. It's a very thick paper, and so it holds up really well underneath the weight of the oils from the crayon. The most important thing you're going to need is crayons. You don't have to use Crayola. I like Crayola because I just like the way it melts and stuff, and I love the smell of crayons. It probably makes me sound really weird, but I love the smell of crayons. Like I said, this is a great project to use for all like the broken crayons you might have around the house and stuff. Or you can just buy new crayons so that you have all the colors you want to use. That's what I did, and also because I didn't have any crayons, so I bought a box. A 64 count box should be perfect. Depending on how many colors you want to use, you might need 2 boxes, so I bought 2 just to be on the safe side. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. This is a really great project for summertime or for like when your kids are out of school, but with young children I would supervise them while they do this, because you'll see when we start melting the crayons that sometimes they kind of splatter. So I'm going to go ahead and just tear out a piece of this painter's paper. If I can get it to come out of the folder. Take it from the back. It's a very thick paper. Okay, so you have that now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a crayon, doesn't matter what color, and you can line up your crayons along the long part of the paper if you have enough, or you can line up along the short part of the paper, which is what I'm going to do. So you want to start a little farther down the edge of the paper to line them up, because sometimes you can get back melting and you don't want it to go over the back of the paper. You can score this off with a knife when you're all done if you want. But so what I'm going to do is just draw a little line. See the line? I'm going to be using this line to line up my crayons. Now, I've also bought some fake flowers because I'm going to be doing a flower melted crayon portrait. Or at least I'm going to try. So you want to go ahead and plug your glue gun in. Like that. Okay. This one's automatic, so it should start heating up pretty quickly. Set it right here on top of my painter's pad for it to warm up. Okay. Now you want to start selecting your crayons. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a flower stem one, so I want to pick out all the green type crayons. Put that on there too. And just so we have a little bit of brown in there, because sometimes you get little brown weeds that'll pop up. I'll put a couple of brown crayons in there. That's another green one. They're a little brown, little weeds. I'm going to go ahead and go over here to this next box, because I didn't get enough green out of that box. This is why I say it's a good idea to use all the broken crayons that you have, and then just make sure that they're all lined up. Because if you're going for certain colors, like I'm using green, you may have to... Well, that's not even fair. This isn't even a whole crayon. And I haven't even used this box. And I'm actually short a few crayons too. That's odd. I guess I should have checked this box before I bought it. Anyway, sorry guys. I hadn't opened this box before, so I didn't know I was missing crayons. I'm going to go ahead and take all the green crayons out of this box. Let's see how that's gonna... we need a couple more. We'll put some more brown in there. That's okay. Everybody gets some weeds sprouting up in there. Pretty flowers on occasion. That should be good. Now, I'm sorry I'm doing this with the camera kind of far away, but if I do it any closer, you might not be able to see very well. So, line your crayons up with all the colors that you want in whatever order you want. I've got a lot of the greens mixed in, and then I've got some of the brown colors in there as well. Because I want it to look like a little bit like a garden. So you're going to kind of line them up so that they're all the way that you want them to be. Now, you can take the Crayola wrappers. You can peel the wrappers off if you want to. I'm going to leave them on. I think it looks kind of cool. Plus it takes a while to take all the wrappers off. But I'm going to go ahead and leave them on. My glue gun is getting pretty warm. So when you're doing this, you want to line this back of the crayon, the flat part. You want to line that up along the line that you drew. So you have all the crayons be pretty equal in height. And that's important because you want them all to melt about the same, start melting at the same point. So I've already got a little drip of glue coming out the top. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. You just want to make a straight line with the glue gun down the crayon. trying to adjust the brightness. So we're just going to make a little line down the crayon, and you have to kind of be fast with this because hot glue dries really quickly. And we're just going to stick it right there. Now you'll notice that I glued the first crayon about, what is that, about an inch? Yeah, about an inch away from the edge of the paper. It's because I don't want it to leak any farther over when I melt it. So go ahead and do the next one. You don't need a ton of glue to hold these guys down, just a little. This one is going to go right next to that first one in a nice straight line. So here's my 2 glued ones, and here are the rest of my not glued ones. Oops. Go ahead and get our next one going. Okay, glue down. Kind of dab off the top part of that. And it's going to go right beside the other green ones. Now we've got a gold one. I like to read the names of some of these crayons because I think they're kind of funny. Like, what's that one? The pink one? Tickle Me Pink? Something like that. I think that one's funny. So this gluing down process can take a little while. You can, I would suggest doing this part for your kids, unless they're old enough to handle the glue gun themselves, because you can get burnt with a glue gun, and we don't want any burnt little fingers. Oops. Little air bubble in my glue gun. Okay, so we have glued ones here in a nice straight line, and these ones aren't glued yet. So we'll get a brown one. Actually, this one's called Sepia. So put this one in line. The others probably going to need another glue stick here pretty quickly. You're probably gonna, unless you have a big glue gun, you're gonna need multiple glue sticks because there's a lot of gluing involved. You can see this brown one got glued down a little too far forward. But just keep gluing. You don't have to do this with green colors. You can do this project. I'm going to go ahead and turn this so I can see it. You can do this project with any color you want. You could even just use every color in the box and just make a pretty line and melt it for practice. I actually kind of recommend that. Just want to make sure that it's kind of going straight. I know my sisters, they did one of these and they used all the pink ones out of the box. They used all the pink ones out of their boxes. Okay. This dandelion color. Okay. You can buy these melted, if you don't want to melt it yourself, but you still want to have one of these cool looking pieces in your home. You can buy them offline. They're pretty expensive. You can make them yourself for a lot cheaper, but if you don't want to do all the work, you can buy them offline. They're really fun conversation pieces. At least I think so. Some of the ones that are online are very elaborate. And they'll use all kinds of like blues and pinks and purples and stuff. I'll use all those colors. They're really pretty. Very, very pretty. They're really not hard to do. They're pretty simple. Gonna need to grab another glue stick really quickly. Okay, let me grab one of my other glue sticks. Not quite yet. Just set it down. We're almost done with the gluing. I'm sorry if you hear my dogs barking in the background. We have some new neighbors moving in today, and my dogs are very suspicious. They don't really, because I have a German Shepherd mix, and he's very protective. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to measure this really quickly. I think, yeah, that's about an inch away on either side. Put one more crayon. Hold on. Let me find one more kind of. Oh, I did miss a green one. There's a green one right there. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that. It's called asparagus. Ugh, I don't like asparagus. There we go. Okay. That's about an inch away from the side of the paper. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug my glue gun because I'm not going to use it for a while. I don't want it to overheat. So now what you're going to do, if you're not using a hard surface, like if you're not using a hard cut board, I recommend that you use a hard surface to hang your painter's paper from. Like, for example, I'm going to go ahead and tape mine onto this board. Oh, I'm missing my tape. Let me just step over here and grab it. Okay. Oh, that was my knee. So if you're not using a board, go ahead and tape the painter's paper down. Okay. Because it does, when the crayons start melting, it gets kind of heavy. So you should have a nice lineup of crayons, like this, with the tips of the crayons facing down the paper. Now you'll see I don't have a ton of paper to work here with because I set the crayons so far forward. That's fine. You should be careful when you're melting them. Now, you can, I'm not going to turn the hairdryer on yet, but when you're doing this, you can point the hairdryer directly at the crayons and go across. You need to make sure that you're aiming from the middle of the crayon down. So like from about right here down, starting at the lowest point possible. Okay, so you can do it directly like that, or you can sort of my brightness. You can angle it down like this and melt downwards like this, which is the method I'm going to try this time. Now, this project is best done, outside, because like I said, the melting crayons can splatter. Unfortunately, if I do this project outside, my horses and my dogs are going to be like swarming around me for attention, and I'd never get the video done. So I'm going to go ahead and just planning on getting new carpet anyway, so I guess it's not that bad. Newspaper works really well, but if you don't have any newspaper, just kind of line the area with some sort of like paper so it doesn't land on your carpet. Okay? If you're letting your younger kids melt the crayons, do this outside because they'll get it everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my hairdryer on to like a low setting with low heat. Low heat. I'm going to go ahead and mute the mic so I don't annoy you with this loud sound because my hairdryer is really loud. Okay, now you'll notice that I concentrated on just one area of the crayons first. Kind of helps, it's a little easier when your crayons are melting in a certain order. So I'm going to keep going here in a second. So we've got our crayons melted. Now I know this doesn't look very pretty right now. It kind of just looks like a big mess. Because it is. So we're going to give these crayons a little bit, the melted parts of it, to dry. And you can see, like, different colors I've found will melt faster. For example, yellows will melt a lot faster than greens, and browns will melt a little slower than yellows. So you have to be careful what colors you pick. This is only the second or third time I've done one of these projects, so I'm still not very good at it. Like I said, there's a definite technique to it. But, so right now you just kind of have this big, globby, colorful mess. Good. And the crayon actually dries pretty quick. See? The mess. It hardens pretty quick. You can stick it in the freezer really quick if you want to. So I said I bought some flowers to kind of give this thing a little 3D dimension. So I'm going to plug my glue gun back in. Let it warm up again. I'm going to go ahead and pull these fake flowers off their stems. So it's just the flower. And probably going to use, about 7 of them. You can include the stem if you want to. I usually don't, though. So I'm just going to test, make sure that all the crayon is pretty much cool. The parts that we melted are still a little warm. That's okay. But I'm going to show you why you need to use a thick paper and like why you can't just use computer paper or construction paper for this. Turn the brightness down a little bit on my computer. Okay. This is the back of the paper. All this dark spot is the heavy melted crayons and the oils that are in the crayon. If I was using a thin piece of paper, like printer paper, this would have bled through like really bad. But the thickness of the painter's paper keeps the back of the paper dry. So this is what we have. Okay, and it's also strong enough to support the crayons if it's just a thing. So right now this looks kind of gross and silly, but I'm going to pick out some different places for these flowers to kind of be blooming from. Put one off the corner of the paper. My glue gun's getting warm again. I put that one right there. That one there. This one coming right here. Put another one up top. Right here. Okay? Now another thing you can do, I've got some other pieces from flower stems. These flowers. I have these little leaf type things from the flowers. I'm going to go ahead and use some of those too. They just bring a little more 3D life to the picture. Excuse me, I need to stretch my knee out here. Had another riding accident, guys. Join me. The sad part is it wasn't even my horse. So, I landed on my bad knee. So it hurts again. It's been giving me problems for a couple of days. So we have these little flower pieces, these little leaf pieces. I'm going to go ahead and just pick where I want them to go. I think I'd like one right there. One, not right there. I'll put one, not really sure where to put these other two. We'll put them down here. We'll keep them like new little blooms or something. Go ahead and insert my next glue stick. Go ahead and start down here with these first couple. Oops. Guess that glue stick wasn't ready to quite go in yet. Go ahead and glue these two leaves together. And then I'm going to pick my spot on the paper. Put a little glue on the bottom of the leaf. And glue the leaf right down. Just like that. Okay. Let's try this again. Then I'm going to add some hot glue to the back of this flower. That was a little messy. And I'm going to glue it right down onto the leaves. Just like that. Okay, next one. Got a little hot glue on that. Ouch, got it on my finger. Kind of burns. A little hot glue on the back of this flower. And glue it down to the paper. A little more on this one. Excuse my stuffy nose. Okay. Just hot glue on this one as well. You have to hot glue all of them down. Otherwise they're not going to stick very well. Put a little back here so that part stays up. Okay. This is coming together pretty nicely. These make, like I said, they make really good art decoration projects. And if you get really good at them, you can display them in your house. Or you can let your kids make one and you can hang it in their room. Kids love to see their artwork on display in their rooms. They even have ways that you can make like letter stencils out of tape, and you just you tape the letter down onto the paper, and then you melt the crayons all the way down all over the tape, and when you're finished and before the crayon totally dries, you pull away the tape and you have that outline of the letter. And it's really pretty too. I like that one. Just haven't figured out how to quite get those letters right with the tape and stuff, so I haven't really done one yet, but I will eventually. But yeah, like I was saying, these can make really cute little Mother or Father's Day presents. Like maybe you've got a dad or a grandpa or someone. You could do the green and browns and make it like a camouflage type thing. Or you could use like the colors of maybe Dad's favorite football team or baseball team, something like that, and give it to him. You can hang it up. So they make really good gifts. Okay. So after I glued the flowers on and gave it a little depth, we have something like this that comes up. Looks like a little flower garden, kind of just growing. Like I said, please forgive it. I know it's not perfect. I've only done, like I said, 2 or 3 of these. So, but as you practice and get better with the melting of the different lines and stuff, it can turn out really pretty. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope I gave you a fun summer project. Bye guys!